Her beauty, her destiny, her life essence, and her life force were coveted by forces older than kingdoms. Adanna, a young girl from Ududu, desired dollars and luxury, while an old man, Okika, desired her essence. This is a story of survival, spiritual awakening, ancestral power, and destiny, a journey that spans forests, mystical mountains, and the very heart of African magic. The day Adanna's life change began quietly in the village of Ududu. A 19-year-old Igbo girl, her beauty radiant and untested, walked past mud huts and busy villagers, her deep red wrapper fluttering, long braids adorned with cowries. She had always wanted more: wealth, admiration, dollars, and luxury beyond the simple life of her village. Little did she know the cost of desire was far greater than any treasure she could imagine. At night, while the village slept under a silver moon, Adanna would sit alone, staring at the shadows, imagining fortunes and wishing for glamour. Her mother, Neka, in her late 40s and wise in ways the girl didn't fully understand, would prepare herbs and mama prayers over the flickering lamp. But Adanna's heart was restless. She did not heed caution, nor the whispering wisdom of ancestors that flowed through the village like an unseen river. One fateful evening, as mist rolled in from the forest, old man Okika appeared. He was 75, hunched with age but with eyes that burned amber and a presence that seemed to draw darkness itself. His raffia robe whispered against the dirt path, and charm jangled softly as he moved. Okika had desired Adanna's life essence from the first time he saw her, a rare beauty with untapped power. He approached her with a sly grin and a crooked staff, the forest bending in anticipation of the encounter. "Child," Okika murmured, "I see the fire in your spirit, and I can give you all you desire." He extended a small calabash etched with ancient runes. "But everything comes at a price." Adanna, curious and greedy, leaned closer. She could feel the weight of the forest watching, spirits swirling faintly above the leaves. The calabash seemed to shimmer, golden vision of wealth and luxury dancing in its depths. Desire gripped her, and with one trembling hand, she reached toward the prize. The ritual began. Okika chanted, tracing symbol on the earth with fingers that had collected centuries of dark knowledge. The calabash vibrated, drawing Adanna's essence into it. A shadow flickered unnaturally. Streams of light, her very life force, began to flow from her body. Fear struck her heart as she realized the gravity of what she had done. The collector's laughter filled the forest, blending with the rustle of ancient trees. By dawn, the forest trembled and twisted. Adanna collapsed, her beauty dimmed, life force siphoned, essence stolen. Okika absorbed it, his own form momentarily rejuvenated. When she awoke alone, the world felt colder, darker, and unforgiving. The village recoiled in shock as she returned, and her mother embraced her, tears streaming, whispering apologies and prayers. Adanna, however, did not surrender. She sat by a sacred anthill, praying to the ancestors. They appeared as translucent figures, towering and grave, showing her visions of her stolen beauty, life force, and destiny locked away in Okika's calabash. She understood then she would have to fight, reclaim herself, and confront the collector with the courage, wisdom, and ancestral power she could summon. The confrontation was spiritual and violent. Adanna's golden essence separated from her weakened body, diving into the collector's chest in a cosmic battle of light and shadow. She freed fragments of herself, shattered the dark calabash, and unleashed a radiant flood of golden energy that obliterated Okika's stolen power. He aged rapidly, collapsing into dust as the storm clouds parted. Adanna's beauty and life force returned, Restored by her courage and the blessing of ancestors, she returned to Ududu victorious. Her beauty was no longer vanity. It was tempered by trials, wisdom, and humility. Villagers and elders bowed, celebrating not just her appearance, but her power, her restored essence, and her resilience. The Sunstone, however, awaited her next challenge. The morning after the collector's ashes blew away, Adanna awoke to a silence different from any she knew. She was alive, whole. Her beauty glowed with a tempered light, forged through the fire of trials. Mama Nena sat outside, tending herbs. "You are whole," her mother said, voice calm but urgent. Adanna nodded but gazed toward distant hills. The world had changed while she recovered. Destiny no longer flowed passively. It demanded effort, courage, and choice. Days were spent retraining body and mind, running along to riverbanks, learning the whispers of wind and spirit, practicing rituals of protection and recognition. Her beauty, her essence, and her life force were now shields, not commodities. Yet the village remained cautious. Whispers of the collector lingered. Children and elders alike sensed the shadow that had once claimed her. On the third week, a messenger from Iroko arrived, a young man in bright blue tunic, carrying a carved staff tipped with silver. "Child of Ududu," he said, bowing, "the kingdom summons you. The oracle has seen a vision. Only one with courage and fire can retrieve the sunstone before it is lost to shadow." Adanna's pulse quickened. The Sunstone was legendary, a gem of the gods, radiant and powerful, dangerous to the unprepared. Unlike the collector's temptation, this was destiny, calling her to a challenge she had earned. She packed lightly, taking ancestral staff, herbs and water, her braids catching sunlight like threads of gold. Mama Nena embraced her, warning of trials beyond shadows, test of courage, wisdom, and heart. Adanna journeyed through dense forests older than memory. Trees reached the skies, roots coiling like serpents. Birds sang in ancient tongues. Spirits whispered in the wind. She camped by streams at night, fire crackling, shadows twisting into unrecognizable forms. Each day she encountered marvelous and terrifying creatures, jewel-colored birds, snakes with glowing eyes, and a shadow stag whose gaze pierced her heart. The path to the mountain holding the sunstone was fraught with trial, chasms, rivers demanding riddles, storm bending reality. Adanna learned patience, humility, observation, and the power of listening to nature. She understood that power came not from taking, but from earning. By the third week of climbing, she reached a valley shrouded in silver mist. A black stone mountain, crowned with white light, rose ahead. The sunstone awaited atop. From the mist, Obina, a young warrior in silver armor, emerged. He spoke of the trial. Only a spirit of truth, strength, and courage could ascend and claim the sunstone. The mountain tested body, mind, and spirit. Rivers challenged her with riddles, chasms threatened sudden falls. Storm conjured vision of fear and greed. By the summit, a mirror-like pool awaited, reflecting her essence and testing her intention. From the pool rose the guardian, a radiant woman with molten amber eyes, the keeper of the sunstone. "To claim it," she said, "you must give freely of your spirit, without desire for gain. Only selflessness and courage will reveal its power." Adanna knelt, touching the pool, whispering an oath to honor her essence, protect her destiny, and wield power for the greater good. Light exploded around her, blinding and pure. When her vision cleared, the sunstone floated before her, humming with warmth, ancestral blessing, and divine energy. Descending the mountain, Adanna reflected on her journey, the collector, the trials, and the shadows of her own desire. She had learned that beauty, life force, and destiny were not for trade, but for honor, courage, and wisdom. Returning to Ududu, she was transformed. Villagers gasped at her radiant presence, not merely for her restored beauty, but for her aura of power, confidence, and wisdom. The Sunstone was entrusted to Mama Nena and the village council, a symbol of courage, humility, and resilience. Adanna's legend grew, not as a girl who sought luxury, but as a woman who faced shadows, reclaimed her essence, and honored her destiny. And yet, she knew the world would continue testing her. The Sunstone was not the end point, it was a reminder that destiny demands courage, wisdom, and selflessness. Moral lesson: true beauty, life force, and destiny are not commodities to be traded or stolen. They are forged through trials, courage, humility, and selflessness. Greed tempts and shadows threaten, but integrity, wisdom, and respect for oneself and the ancestors create a spirit and life that cannot be taken, only earned. Every challenge strengthens the soul and connects one to the greater legacy of the ancestors.